Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and the Supreme Court just issued a blockbuster decision, and President Donald Trump, he's smiling from ear to ear. Before we get started, if you're not already on the page, please check us out at youtube.com/@explainamerica. Hit like, subscribe, comment on the videos. It really helps us out. Guys, the Supreme Court, in my opinion, has ruled now for the third time in favor of President Donald Trump. You're going to hear a lot of Democrats, a lot of media talking heads like on Morning Joe on MSNBC, acting like this was a victory for the people who are against Trump. But if you delve into it, you'll find that it is a massive victory for Trump himself. Why? Well, they said that man that was mistakenly deported, who all indications are let's say he's an alleged MS-13 gang leader. Well, they're saying you have to facilitate bringing him back to the United States. Now, he's from El Salvador, and there are threats against his life, but, I mean, this is a guy who threatens people's lives too, presumably. And so I don't want to send him there to get axed, but he can't stay here. Well, the Supreme Court decision says they have to effectuate his return to the best of their ability, which means they may not bring him back at all. There's a lot of loopholes in this Supreme Court decision. Also, it just says he can't go to El Salvador. You can bring him back here and send him to any of the other 193 countries that are working with us on this. So he's not staying here. And that is a massive victory for Trump, because what does he care where he goes? Look, you ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. It's an age-old thing. And Morning Joe, they were crowing about it this morning. They loved that Trump lost, until their own legal analyst came on the air and gave him a dose of reality. Trump won, and he says it plain as day. And boy, the Morning Joe crew did not take that news well. Let's put it that way. I want you to watch this and let me know what you think in the comments.
Taken together this week and what it means.
Yeah, let's start with the decision last night. The order is a win for the Trump administration, and at least that's how they're going to play it. Here's what I mean. A real win for Garcia would have been an order that says, hey, administration, I hear the Salvadorian president's going to be here Monday. Put Garcia on the plane, seated next to him in a reclining seat, and he better be here Monday with the president. That would have been a clear win. The reason I say this, the administration is going to call this a win, is there's a lot of space, a lot of loophole potential in this order. Consider this. One of the lines that we put up there on the screen was that the court ordered him to be returned, or to facilitate his return so his case could be handled as if it was properly handled. Remember, the 2019 order for Garcia by an immigration judge just really prevented his return to El Salvador. In theory, any of the other 193 countries out there might be perfectly all right. And if his case was handled the way it should have been, that could still result in his removal. And then there's even bigger wiggle room for the administration in the language with one word: effectuate. Yes, the lower court's order remains in place. The administration has to effectuate his return, but the court has to clarify, what does it mean by effectuate? I guarantee you, and here I am saying it now, the administration is going to say that whatever the district court clarifies effectuate means, the administration is going to say, well, guess what? We say you don't have the power to order us to do that, because you're essentially ordering us to engage in international relations, which you, an Article 3 court, another branch of the government, cannot order us to do. And we're going to be right back here where we were this last week as this goes back up through the courts. I will just say, Joe, you're exactly right. Taken together, the two Supreme Court cases over the last week or so do stand for the idea that people subject to removal are entitled to due process. But sometimes even due process can be relatively hollow, because as long as they give them that notice and as long as they give them that hearing, arguably these folks can still be removed. So yes, a win for due process, but I promise you, hear me now, the administration will call this a win for themselves, or at least that's how they'll play their hand.
Right. Well, I mean, Claire McCaskill, I don't think anybody is arguing that if